Hi there. In this video, we'll be covering self-publishing versus traditional publishing in 2024. I have experience with both of these publishing options, and there are benefits and drawbacks to both. Stay tuned to learn which path is best for publishing your book. By the end of this video, you will learn the differences between the two publishing models, the extra steps needed for traditional publishing, and what to keep in mind when facing rejections. And stay tuned to the end of this video for a free opportunity. Let's dive in. The first option I'm talking about today is self-publishing. Self-publishing is becoming more and more prevalent over the past couple years. It just seems like everybody and their mother is writing books and publishing them, which is great. I think it's great to bring down the obstacles to publication and to give everybody a voice and everybody an opportunity to write a book. But within self-publishing, there are things to keep in mind. One is the upfront cost. When you self-publish, and it means that you're working with a self-publishing company, working directly with Amazon, you're going to incur costs at every turn, at every step of the way, for editing, for cover design, for marketing, for promotion. All of these different steps require money up front. With self-publishing, the most important upside is control. You have more control over the process. You have more control over the cycle in which your book goes to publication. You have more control over the cover design, what's inside and outside of the book, all the text on Amazon and other pages to talk about the book itself. You have control at every step of the way, which is exciting. There's a lot of good things about that. You also can start to see revenue from book sales a lot sooner with self-publishing and more directly. There's no other cost added on. So when the book's published and it starts selling, you will start to see revenue coming in from that book more quickly, and you'll see a higher percentage of it than you would in a traditional model. Traditional publishing resembles self-publishing in a lot of different ways, but in some very key ways it's different. The first way is the process in which the book gets published. It starts with something called a book proposal. A book proposal is basically a roadmap for the entire project. Typically for a book proposal, it might take a couple months to complete that, in addition to anything else that you're working on with the book itself. So this is a book proposal, it's a roadmap. It really is meant to tell agents and publishers how you're going to market and promote the book and what your platform looks like. Because your platform is the most important part of the proposal, and it's the thing that agents and publishers are going to look at the most. So once you have the book proposal complete, the next step is to use it to find a literary agent who will represent the book. And this process can take anywhere from weeks to months to be able to find the right person. And you want somebody who's going to champion that work. You want somebody who's going to believe in it the way you do. Maybe they want to make changes to the proposal. Maybe they want to even make changes to the book. But they need to be able to believe in this book the way that you do. And if they don't, it's probably not going to be the right fit. So you want to find a literary agent that is going to champion this book, because the next step for them is going to be selling it to publishers. They need to go out and find the publisher who's interested in publishing your book. And that is a difficult process because there's going to be a lot of rejections. There's going to be a lot of no's, and there's going to be a lot of, oh, it's interesting, but I don't think it's right for me, or whatever else the case may be. The literary agent and the publication step both require rejection. And it's really important to be able to weather the storm on that. I know with the books I've written, it's been disheartening to face those rejections and have literary agents tell you, I don't think this project's right for me. Why not? Explain that to me. Be clear about it. It's been so frustrating to face those rejections. I've had people tell me, I like this idea, but why don't you write a book on this instead? Write a book on something else. Why would I want to write a book on something else? I want to write this book right now. So it's really disheartening sometimes to face those rejections, and you need to be able to weather the storm and believe in your book deeply, because otherwise you're going to be unmoored and lost if you just listen to every single person and follow along with whatever they say. I was pitching a project recently, this is in the past couple months, and I had one person say, this story's been told already. Oh, this doesn't need to be put in the book. This is not going to sell. So they passed. And then we went to another publisher, And the other publisher said, well, why don't you do this, this, and this, which was actually in direct clashing with the other publisher. I think it's one of those things where if you let this process dictate where you want to go and pull you away, it can, which is why it's important to stay true, stick to your guns, and believe in your book and see it through, because eventually somebody will be interested and somebody will say yes. But that traditional publishing process does take more time. On the flip side of that, when you sign a deal with a traditional publisher, you're going to get money up front. Typically today with traditional publishing, when you sign a deal for a book with a publisher, they will pay you in advance, and they pay it in 3 parts. They pay the first part when you sign the deal, they pay the second part when the draft is complete, and they pay the third part of that when the book is published. So you might not get paid fully for the book for a year or more. With that said, all of the other costs of publication are typically covered. Editing, cover design, marketing, all these things are included typically by the publisher. So you're not paying out of pocket for that. You're being paid money instead of having to pay money. But you're at the behest of the publisher to set schedules, timelines, everything else. So there's a lot of things out of your control. I know a book of mine was scheduled to be published in March. I was super excited about that, March or April. And then it got pushed to the end of May, which it worked out okay, but I would have wished to have the book published in that earlier window because it timed out better. But you kind of just have to roll with it because it's out of your control. And then with royalties for books sold, with traditional publishing, you actually have to sell back to cover the advance before you start making money again on the book. So, and there's little increments that come out of every book sold. It might be $2, it might be $5, it might be $3, and they vary depending on if there's any deals on your book, if the book's on discount, if there's a sale going on. It's a really complicated process, and it's just very confusing. So there are upsides to traditional, but there's obviously upsides to the self-publishing model where you publish the book and then you start making money on it. So it's just cleaner and easier that way. When choosing between traditional or self-publishing, it's important to think about your audience. It's important to think about your sales potential for the book. If you have lots of sales platforms to pull from and a large audience, either through emails, through social media, through public events, through speaking engagements, interviews, opportunities like that, to sell the book and promote the book, traditional publishing may be the right path for you. If you don't have a large platform, it might be more difficult to get a book deal because, again, book publishers are so focused today on your platform and your ability to sell the book. Sadly today, publishers are very focused on bringing on books that they know will sell and have a built-in model behind them. I wish that wasn't the case, but it really is. And it makes sense. I mean, you would want to take on projects you know are going to sell too. So, it's part of the game today, but it's something to keep in mind. When choosing between self-publishing and traditionally publishing, it's important to choose the path that works for you. And also to keep faith in your book. You're going to face rejections and frustrations along the way, but as long as you can stay committed to it and believe in it, eventually someone's going to say yes, and it's going to be so powerful when they do. If you want to learn more about book publishing and writing and ghostwriting, head to my website, goodghostwriter.com. You can click the link below. You also have the opportunity to sign up for free one-on-one strategy calls with me, where we can talk about your book and figure out the best path forward for you. We put out videos like this every single week, so like and subscribe to this channel to keep receiving these videos. Remember, good ghostwriting makes great books. I'm Dan Good. Thanks for watching.